I would say that you're ready to work with your emotional triggers and bring healing to your emotional triggers when you're ready to see that you're the common denominator in a lot of different scenarios. So when you're still going through, and I think we all go through that for a period of time where we really believe that I'm so unlucky, I keep running into a partner that acts this certain way, or I keep ending up in a job where I'm treated a certain way, or I keep ending up in the same family dynamic ever since I was a kid, they're still happening. Um, Up until that point, you're really running programs that are embedded in the energy field of your body. That's really where it all lives, the whole curriculum, the whole programming. And you might say that we're really here as spiritual beings in a mortal body that is constituted of the patterns that we have accumulated over lifetimes, and definitely also in this lifetime. That would be enough to focus on, but you will also impact what you have brought into this life. And when you start to recognize, wow, there is like a theme that keeps playing out. Whichever country I live in, whatever town I live in, whatever state I live in, whatever boyfriend I have, whatever work situation I'm in, there are these things that keep playing out that aren't comfortable. And there could also be good things, right? We could have accumulated patterns that are really great, really good habits that keep us motivated, that keep us healthy, that keep us being a really good friend or attracting really good friends into our lives. And those are great, keep those patterns. That's healthy, because when we have patterns that continuously draw goodness into our life and has goodness flow from us, I would say at that point we're really in touch with higher self, with the divine, with God, and we're being a channel for God. The stuff that doesn't feel comfortable is the places where we're contracted, where the instrument that we're experiencing life through on the earthly plane is injured. And instead of being ashamed of that or impatient with that, it's injured because we were scared at some point. We contracted into pain at some point, and then we never found the way to fully release and trust and relax and surrender again. So when we've done that enough time, there's all this tension living in the body. So when we work with emotional triggers in the Heal What Hurts process, it's all about the sensations in the body. Everything is energy. What we draw into our life is manifestation of energy that is projected out from us. That was the first really, you could say, esoteric spiritual teaching that I received in my life, was at least that I consciously received and consciously sought out, was at a Tibetan Buddhist center in Copenhagen when I was only 19, 20 years old. And a teacher said that the job we have as spiritual beings here in mortal bodies is to clear the heart mind of everything that continuously draws into our life experiences that are painful and that we perpetuate. And every time we experience that negative experience yet again, even if it's new actors and new scenarios, the essence of it, the feeling in the body is similar. And every time we replay that pattern, it actually becomes more entrenched. It's like it contracts a little more. It becomes a little more embedded. And we feel that in ourselves, and we see it in others, that the longer we keep going with a pattern, the more it feels like, well, that's really who I am. That's really who you are. But it really isn't who I am or who you are or who anybody is. It is a pattern that has just gotten more and more rigid and tight and stiff and contracted. And at any given point, we can start turning that around by softening it, by releasing it, by letting the uncomfortable experiences that come at us from the outside be a signpost. Oh, where is that coming from? Oh, it sits right here in my stomach. Oh, it lives right here in my chest. I'm going to be with that. And even as I say that, and I've done a lot of work on this, I really have, and I have more work to do, in that moment, I feel like I could feel that there is a little contraction that lives here, and I had to let it go. So it's almost like we've become the default setting as a human to a large extent is a little bit of contraction, protection, guarding, and without the awareness and the loving presence of our own higher self here to constantly open back up, let out, let the light in, let the light out, let that flow and that exchange between us and other human beings continuously heal ourselves and each other and the world. So I like to say to my students in the Heal What Hurts online course that we're like light bulbs, and the more we're present in our body, in our life, in our actual physical energy, the more light we emanate, the more light comes in and starts to dissolve those contractions. The more contracted we are, the less light we can hold. It's like a smaller space. So if the energy field on the inside feels something like this, when we get scared, it contracts like this, and then when we open back up, it maybe goes here. But when we really start to work with the energy field of the body, it might open up even bigger. The cup is bigger, and we can hold more light. And not only will all that light start to heal our own injuries, contractions, knots, samskaras, emotional triggered energy, but we also start to emanate that into whoever we're with, whether it's just one other person or a space that we're imbuing with light, or it's a group that we're imbuing with light. So to tie all that together, I would say that when you work with your emotional triggers and you become a greater container for light, that is your greatest contribution to the world, because then you bring more light into the world. So tomorrow night we start yet another Heal What Hurts online group, and I got one spot left. So if anybody feels called and knows that that's mine, I want to do that. It's a 6-week process. You know, message me, join us, be that last person in the small group to join, and then we'll pick it up again in the new year with more groups and continuing groups. There's something about doing this work in a group that is very powerful, because you get to see that other people are really not so different. The triggers that we have and our need to feel loved, to feel like we belong, and to feel safe is universal for all human beings. And it's on one of those aspects of our humanity that we've been injured. Oh, I didn't feel loved, I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel like I was belonged in a certain setting. That's what makes us scared, because it threatens us on our very survival. When we're really little and we have an experience, whether in an early group setting or a family setting, that don't feel safe in, or feel like we're loved and cared for, and that we really belong, we're really threatened on who's going to feed me, how am I going to be safe at night. So that's what's being re-triggered. So when you act a little nuts with someone else, be it in the world or be it with one other person or in a family setting, that kind of almost possession you can feel when you're really triggered, or you can see it in someone else, and no one is exempt from this as far as I've seen. It's because you're kind of fighting for your survival, and then you might have two people fighting for their survival, and there's not a whole lot of room for heart and openness and understanding in that, because you're so contracted into fear. So that's really not the time to have the discussion. But that's more the content, so that you'll learn a lot more about that if you get my book, Heal What Hurts. You can grab it at any online bookstore, or there's some local bookstores that I was told by students that they found them in local bookstores, or join one of my Heal What Hurts online groups, or consider a private session. Sometimes just one session where someone sits with you and helps you be with and bring light to those contracted places in the body is like clearing and opening up a channel where light suddenly pours through, and then the light is the real healer. Sometimes we just need someone to sort of help facilitate us into a state of being where we can receive more light, hold more light. Soma yoga and breath work and the deeper, more therapeutic types of yoga is very much centered around becoming very, very present and lovingly aware in the body. Yeah. So now my dinner's ready. I just heard the kitchen beep, so I'm gonna hop off here. This got super long. Anyway, I just wanted to share all this with you. I will be preaching about this for as long as I live, because nothing has been more important for my own health and well-being and relationships than working through on a continuous basis my triggers as they arise in my body. Thanks for listening.